The Well City Challenge is a social impact program powered by the Economy League, focused on supporting innovators with new ideas for addressing and improving millennial mental and physical health through community-led ventures. As a woman who is both millennial and a mother, statistics like that of the Black maternal health crisis, for example, which I've experienced firsthand, demonstrate that the challenges faced by one group or generation is a challenge faced by all. This is precisely why community and social connection are so important to millennial health, and why I'm excited to see how each of the concepts address the millennial health problem. The finalists presenting today are going to pitch based on the work from the rigorous month-long incubator. They worked closely with an advisor to provide exposure to new business and nonprofit development concepts, broaden their network, and deepen their knowledge of millennial health and mental health. This evening, we will hear five pitches, I should say, pitches from our five final concepts from the community and social connection category. And they are, Hey Auntie, Hike and Heal, Let's Talk Philly Conversation Circles, Mind Your Art, and last but not least, the Hero Group Health Coaching Program. That will be followed by a Q&A session with our wonderful panel of judges, which includes Tiffany Numis, Senior Manager for Corporate Administration and Local Media Development at Comcast, Deborah Ortiz Vasquez, Director of Community Health and Wellness at the Esperanza Health Center, and Rakia Reynolds, founder of Sky Blue Media. Let's take a brief moment to meet our judges. Tiffany, Deborah, and Rakia, can you each take about 30 seconds to introduce yourself and share why you care about community and social connection? Tiffany, we can start with you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this competition. I am a proud board member of the Economy League, and I too, Sarita, am a millennial and definitely care about the health and wellness of our community, particularly our millennials, because all of our health and all of our wellness is interconnected. So if folks are healthy, we have a healthy city. And that's why I'm here today. I'm super excited to hear about these pitches from these bright spots in our community, these community leaders. And I'm just ready. I'm ready to hear it.
I love it. I love it. Deborah?
Deborah Ortiz Vasquez here. And I'm also excited to be here. I work in a health center, and so I see people sometimes not at their best. I am not a millennial, but I have daughters who are millennials, and so I totally get it. I think we're created for community, and so when that has been truncated or that has been inhibited or that has been compromised, then I believe that we're not our full human self. And so I'm so eager to hear more about how we could mobilize, peer-to-peer to really just make a difference, to connect people, especially in this world that we sit in today. And so I'm eager to hear, the winners and also those who are just going to take this no matter what and move into their communities and do the good work. So I'm excited.
Gotcha. And last but not least, Rakia.
Oh. Hi, sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties with my camera, but I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I would call myself an exennial. I am not a millennial, but I'm not a Gen Xer, so I'm right there in the middle. But I think that question that you posed, Sarita, is so important because where we are right now, we all need some sort of community. It's the thread that holds us together for a sense of belonging. It's the way that our bodies and our brains are made up. We all need some sort of connection. So I'm really excited to hear some of the ideas tonight, hear from all of you. And I mean, you had me at some of the first names. I mean, just to hear some of the creative names of some of these companies as someone that works, and I pride myself on working with small businesses and businesses that help to build our nation. So I'm just excited for all of you.
Got it. Listen, thank you all for just taking a moment to introduce yourselves. Our judges were chosen based on their considerable knowledge of community and social connection, making them the perfect fit to determine which concept will win $10,000 in seed investment and move on to the spring accelerator for an opportunity to be awarded $50,000 in seed investment. We're so excited to hear about the progress our finalists have made to strengthen their ideas and provide each of you with the opportunity to vote on your favorite concept. So please be sure to use the link in the chat to cast your vote. Voting will remain open for 24 hours. Our People's Choice Awards will be announced on Tuesday, March 9th, so save the date, and the winner will be awarded with $7,500. More cash money, y'all. Be sure to follow the Economy League to stay connected for the final results. You can find all the social media handles you'll need right there in the chat. I'd now like to introduce two important folks at the Economy League, Nick Frontino, who serves as the managing director, and Chelsea Lowe, who serves as the Impact Labs program manager. They'll share a bit of background on the Economy League and the Well City Challenge. Nick and Chelsea?
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us to hear the Well City Challenge finalists pitch their solutions to millennial health challenges in the Philly area. I'm Nick Frontino, Managing Director of the Economy League, the organization behind the Well City Challenge. We're an independent nonprofit with a long history in Philadelphia. We like to call ourselves the region's think and do tank. We produce insight on the challenges and opportunities facing our communities and mobilize organizations and individuals across sectors around shared solutions for progress. The Well City Challenge is part of the Economy League's Impact Labs, where we work to connect community ventures and social entrepreneurs with the resources and relationships needed for impact in our communities. This work is a true team effort, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge everyone who has had a hand in it. The Well City Challenge is made possible by the support of presenting sponsor Independence Blue Cross, as well as the Knight Foundation, the Philadelphia Foundation, and the Economy League's Board of Directors. I'd also like to thank the diverse group of leaders who make up the Well City Challenge Advisory Committee and Recruitment and Selection Committee, as well as the 15 advisors who provided hands-on support to finalists during our social venture incubator over the last month. And a big thanks to Think Company, the local experience design firm that developed an amazing set of interactive workshops to help teams hone their solutions and sharpen their pitches. And thanks to Indiegogo, which provided Well City teams with technical assistance on crowdfunding. And last, but certainly not least, a big thank you to our Well City Challenge finalists. They represent a truly diverse and impressive range of perspectives and solutions, and it's their passion and energy that have made the Well City Challenge come alive. I can't wait to hear their pitches tonight. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Chelsea Lowe, the Economy League's Impact Labs program manager. Chelsea?
Thanks, Nick. I'm Chelsea Lowe, Impact Labs program manager at the Economy League. The Well City Challenge was inspired by Blue Cross Blue Shield Association's 2019 Health of Millennials report, which found that millennials, those born between 1981 and 1996, are in worse health than previous generations were at the same age. In Philadelphia, 1 in 3 residents is a millennial. These health challenges could make or break our economy. The Well City Challenge kicked off last fall with a call for ideas application that asked everyday innovators to submit ideas for addressing millennial health and mental health across 3 focus areas: community and social connection, food and nutrition, and mind and body. During the call for ideas, we received over 100 applications. After working with our recruitment and selection committee, we selected 15 finalists. These 15 teams participated in our social venture incubator last month, where they worked to develop their ideas and prepare to pitch. I'm excited for you all to hear from some of them tonight. Teams, I'm wishing you all good luck. You got this. Sarita, take it away.
Thanks, Chelsea and Nick. We're moving right along into our first pitch. Nicole Kinney from Hey Auntie. Hey Auntie is a virtual multi-generational matching service for millennial women and seasoned women to discuss love, work life, and everything in between. Thank you to our Well City Incubator advisor, Hayward West. Nicole, welcome and take it away.
Hi, judges. My name is Nicole Kinney. I'm from West Philadelphia and the founder of Hey Auntie. Judges, I need to ask you a question. Have you ever felt isolated on your professional journey? You find that you're working longer and harder, but your best is not good enough? Or maybe you've been underestimated to solve a problem, but then overburdened with the responsibility to fix it at the last minute and when every other solution fails. Or maybe you feel like you've had to stuff in your anger and your sadness because showing any signs of emotions at work as a Black woman might jeopardize your hopes and dreams. When you have those type of experiences, who do you go to? I go to my aunties, trusted women in my community who give me advice, resources, and laughs at just the right time. And so many of my friends told me they want the same kind of support system. So that gave me the idea for Hey Auntie, the first tech-based platform in Philadelphia to power Black women with multi-generational connections and community to rise and thrive in their work lives. Now, we know anxiety and depression is increasing at an alarming rate amongst millennials, and especially millennial women, according to an IBX report. And if we dig a little deeper, in a Working Mother Media report, we found that 52% of the Black women they surveyed said they were considering leaving their job in the next 2 years, in part due to emotional and mental stress. So this means we need targeted solutions to address our emotional and mental health. And it also means those targeted solutions have to be powered by data, the latest technology like artificial intelligence and cultural sensitivity to create customer-centric experiences that value us. In other words, we need Hey Auntie. And this platform is going to offer 3 groundbreaking features. 1, a 911 chat box. We're going to use AI to provide real-time answers to frequently asked questions like, what do you do when someone says, you are so articulate? Or 2, how-to videos, fun tutorials on everyday questions like, well, how do I negotiate a raise? But think the humor of The Office meets those webinars you're supposed to watch at work, but they're really watching you. And finally, a one-on-one matching service, the first of its kind AI-driven mentoring experience that will pair women with more seasoned women for more conversation and insight. And with the innovation of Hey Auntie, we'll be able to replicate this model across the country and inform health frameworks to move us closer to true equity. So judges, wouldn't you like a platform like Hey Auntie? Then I ask you for your funding to power this idea forward. Because forfeiting the creativity, innovation, and ingenuity of Black women is not a price we can afford to pay in Philadelphia, across this country, or around the globe. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Nicole. Now we'll get into a little Q&A with our judges. And if there's time, we'll open up for audience questions. As a reminder, there will be a buzzer to keep us on time and inform us when we need to move to the next pitch. So let's bring everybody on. And I believe we have all of our judges present. And with that said, judges, your thoughts, feedback on Nicole's pitch.
Nicole, thank you so much for that pitch. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I'm definitely, excited about that type of platform. My question to you is, will your platform match you with someone in a company that's, the appropriate size? Like, for example, if I'm in a Fortune, 100 company that has over 10,000 employees, will Hey Auntie recognize that and match me with a similar company?
So hi Tiffany. And yes, that's a fantastic question because I've already started to do market research by the millennials, and having industry specific aunties was something that they talked about. So that is definitely something that is a priority when we think about matching, is that the same company size and the same industry, because that matters with the type of advice that they're going to give.
Thank you for that question, Tiffany. Rakia or Deborah, any questions?
Sure. I just wanted to say that I thought it was a great pitch. It gave me the who, the what, the when, the where, and most importantly, the why. And I think sometimes when we're pitching things, we don't understand why you're doing it. So I felt the passion. I saw the human interest. And what I saw most importantly was the need for it now. It's timely, it's topical, really relevant. And I do think that it will cut through the clutter with all of these other apps that we're seeing. Every day there's something added to the app store, some sort of automated technology that helps to enable us to do more. And so my question with that is, while AI is created for us to do more, for us to work smarter, faster, and better, and Hey Auntie feels really personal, what will you do to ensure that the human interest and the human touch in this high touch, culturally relevant topic is empowered and not overpowered by the AI component?
First, hi, Rakia. And do you mind just clarifying your question? I just want to make sure that I'm clear when I'm answering.
So what will you do on your end from the back end, whether it's you or the team that you hire, to make sure that the AI component doesn't overpower the human interest, the high touch? So we have high tech with AI, and then we have high touch with Hey Auntie. The way that you're going to be offering services, the mentoring component, the making sure that I'm there for you. How is that human interest standpoint and that high touch moment going to be protected so that it's not overpowered by the high tech that AI seemingly offers?
Got it. I understand. So I'm glad you asked that question as well, because other features that we want to have on the platform are check-ins, for instance. And so weekly, that came up in the market research as well. So think, we would have a thematic check-in. Maybe you're having trouble with work-life balance. And so we would have an auntie who would have a conversation like this to kind of basically have that dialogue. So with the ANI, is really the intention is kind of to enhance the relationships. So we already know that there is some commonality, but we want to definitely take that offline and have these conversations virtually. And then hopefully, assuming COVID passes soon, it being Philadelphia centric, also moving it to in person as well. So that's the goal, is to start the conversations online, but then to create opportunities for those conversations to happen virtually and then actually, in everyday life.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question? I hope.
That was perfect. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that question, Rakia. And we have probably about a little over a minute left. Deborah, a question?
Yeah, so I was going to ask similar question that Rakia mentioned. And then I'm trying to figure out, how do you do this, especially in the virtual world, making things culturally competent or culturally sensitive or have cultural humility? Like, what does that look like? Because it's tied into what you're actually advocating for. So I'd be curious to hear a little bit about that.
And that's a great question as well. So that's why really the next step to moving this forward is doing more market research. We want to get a better understanding of the target market that we're serving, understanding that Black millennial women are diverse. And so we don't want to lead with any types of assumptions. So we want to understand, we want to make sure that we're speaking the language, and millennials are broad. We're talking about 23-year-olds to 38-year-olds. So culturally sensitive as an African-American woman, and then also age sensitive as well, because how a 38-year-old woman is different than how a 23-year-old woman will talk. But that information will come out through the market research. Oh, okay. That bell scared me. Okay. I forgot about it. Okay. I hope that answered your question or part of your question, Deborah.
Yes, thank you.
Listen, we make sure the bell is nice and clear.
The bell works.
No, listen, Nicole and to our judges, thank you all so much for this really insightful Q&A round. I know we have to keep things moving here and get to our next pitch, right? So next up is Brandy Alston from Hike and Heal. This women's hiking hive offers healing experiences to increase overall wellness, physically, mentally, and spiritually here in Philadelphia. Thank you to our Well City Incubator advisor, Mackenzie Alston. Brandy, welcome, and the stage is all yours.
Millennial women are 20% less healthy than their male counterparts. This is specifically driven by higher cases of major depression, type 2 diabetes, and endocrine-related conditions. My solution to remedy this issue is to continue leading women outdoors to hike as a form of mental and physical health. Why hiking? Because hiking clears the mind by providing a sense of calm and peace while reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. I am Brandy Austin, founder of Hiking Hill Wellness LLC. Hiking Hill is a diverse women's hiking group offering healing hikes to increase overall wellness physically, mentally, and spiritually. In 2019, this began as a simple interest to revisit hiking after a trip to Colorado. This casual, free, monthly hike meetup quickly transformed into a movement and a growing community. By our fourth hike, we reached 100 women registering with 50% turnout rates. Most would not connect hiking in a metropolitan city like Philadelphia. However, we are fortunate to have the Wissahickon Valley Park, which houses 50 miles of trails to hike and commune. However, many people, especially people of color, do not frequent the Wissahickon or know of its existence. I myself, a lifelong resident, had no prior knowledge of the Wissahickon, its vast size, or the possibility of hiking in my own city. For that reason, I have made it my duty to fill the gap. During the pandemic, stay-at-home orders and social distancing put a pause on in-person socializing, to the point that 92% of millennials said that COVID-19 had a negative impact on their mental health. Over the course of 4 months in lockdown, I witnessed firsthand the urgency from the hike hive to safely start getting back into hiking while following CDC guidelines. Furthermore, I saw the need to develop an intentional business for connection and community. In order to build the business, I began accepting sliding scale donations for bi-weekly hikes of 30 women, which resulted in 95% turnouts and on average $400 in donations raised. During the pandemic, we have safely hiked 20 times with 568 registrations. This proves that the need and the desire truly exists. Hiking Hill thrives off of community, connection, and social impact. We support and amplify local women-owned businesses, organizations, and healers. My ask is that you choose me to continue this work and improve the health of millennial women by expanding Hiking Hill into national chapters and growing our digital healing sanctuary. Thank you for considering me as a finalist for the Well City competition.
Thank you, Brandy. So with that said, now we'll move on into our Q&A with the judges. And again, I think we're doing pretty good on time, so we'll be able to open it up for audience questions. So we're bringing all our judges back on screen to join Brandy and myself, and let's get into it. Judges, any questions?
Deborah, we'll let you go first since you went last time.
Okay. So, how have you, because I know you've been at this for a minute, how have you and how do you propose you will break some of the stereotypical ideas about who goes hiking? And that's very broad stroked, but I think there is a barrier there. So I was curious to hear how you've done that or how you envision that happening to get people out into the wild, even though we're talking about Philly. But my idea of a hike is to walk in Center City. So I'd be curious to hear how you propose that will be done or what has been successful.
Yes, thank you, Deborah. Just me being a Black woman who is curvaceous and wanted to just try something that they tried in Colorado and Philadelphia. I looked it up and I said, where do I even hike in Philly? And I found the Wissahickon Valley Park and I said, wow, I've never been here. And I've experienced many things throughout my life, camping and horseback riding, but I've never been. So I went out and I said, okay, I have to bring other people out here. And initially I thought I may just keep it as a Black space or people of color, but I decided to just keep it open and whoever wanted to come would show up. And I would never wanted anyone to feel like they weren't welcome because I know how that feels, especially in the wellness space. So they keep coming and I keep bringing them and accepting them. And I'm really excited for what has been created.
All right, thank you for that. And on to our next judge, Rakia or Tiffany, a question for Brandy.
Yeah, hi, Brandy. I have a question regarding how do you envision scaling this? You mentioned the chapters, but particularly, how do you scale for the areas like maybe Detroit or, areas that don't have the park space and the open park space that we have the luxury of having in Philly?
Thank you, Tiffany. Yes, so I've gotten some inquiries from Chicago, which I was like, wow, who would have thought of Chicago? So my idea is to go on a tour when COVID opens up and start to make some, put some research together and see what are the closest parks to these metropolitan cities where people are inquiring about, and to grow the chapters from there. So to connect with people, influencers or people that are already doing the work when it comes to the outdoors and representing diverse bodies and diverse race and age. So that is my goal, to go on tour when it's safe, a little bit more safe.
Appreciate you for that response. And last but not least, Rakia.
Yeah, Brandy, I think what you've built is awesome. Just thinking about the number of groups that are out there, I think of folks like, the ones at Girl Trek who have empowered all of these women to sort of walk, and looking at their scalability and their model to pop up chapters in different, parts of the country. I think what you're doing in the health space, my question is probably ideas and comments, and questions all bottled up into one. But I see a lot of potential for you because you're exposing folks in the tourism and hospitality space to the parks and recreation that exists here that not a lot of folks know. When you think about hiking, to Deborah's point, I often think about my friends on the West Coast who are always hiking, and you see that. So I love that part. And I think that there's a large opportunity for you to have more partnerships with Parks and Rec, tourism and hospitality, also the American Red Cross, who is trying to do everything in their power to bring visibility to Black women specifically, who are hugely impacted by heart disease. So what you're doing with hiking and healing, there's such an opportunity for you to monetize this in ways that you can scale a lot quicker than you might be thinking at this point. So I guess I want to encourage you to open it up to all of the groups for partnerships, because what you're doing is local right now, but from a scalability standpoint and what you've done from touch points, you could be partnering with the Shine app, with the Calm app. There's so many things that you could be incorporating here. So I would just encourage you to scale, but do it collaboratively, because there are folks that are looking for you specifically.
Thank you so much, Rakia. I can't even. Thank you.
Absolutely. And look at that. We have the bell going, which means it's now time for our audience Q&A. I see that we already have some questions that have been rolling in. So I want to go ahead and Brandy present some of those to you. So Jen asked, how does Hike and Heal approach accessibility for different fitness levels?
Okay, thank you, Jen. So at this moment with Hike and Heal, we started with monthly hikes. So at that point, I decided it would always be beginner friendly, because we're always having new people join. Usually half people return and half people are new hikers. So I always want people to be welcomed. I always want them to feel like they can do this. It's not a walk, it is a hike. So there is a bit of a challenge, but no one is left behind. No hike hive honey is left behind. So I accept everyone.
Got you. Okay. And we have a question from Bethany, who asked, what will the funding be prioritized for to jumpstart the organization?
Thank you. So right now I am working towards paying my facilitators that I collaborate with. So we have some people that come on for our hikes and they offer a healing modality, whether it's meditation, yoga, we've had drum circles, we've had everything under the sun. So I want to keep the tickets accessible, but I also want to pay people for their talents and their work. So paying my facilitators in our physical space as well as our digital healing sanctuary, which is called Heal Hun. I have amazing facilitators, yoga, meditation, sound healers. So I want to pay those people. I want to pay myself. I am now a full-time entrepreneur as of yesterday. And I want to retain legal and financial counsel as well as a photographer to capture the essence of our hikes.
Wow, thank you, Brandy, for breaking all of that down. And thank you to our audience for your great questions, our judges for both your questions and encouragement. And so we're going to keep this program moving here. Coming up next, we have Yu Shanjo, Karen Sabera, Maureen Smith, and Manuel Portillo from Let's Talk Philly Conversation Circles. Let's Talk Philly Conversation Circles works in partnership with the Welcoming Center to offer immigrant millennials a safe space to practice and improve their English conversation skills, develop social capital, and increase their understanding about immigrant wellness. This is accomplished by sharing their stories, breaking stereotypes and prejudice, and ensuring cultural authenticity. Through a participant-centered and problem-solving approach, the project aims to support and leverage the participants' talents and skills to connect and build collaborative relationships with successful millennials in the city. The project's goal is to strengthen the social fabric necessary for improved wellness and well-being. Thank you to our Well City Incubator Advisor, Manuela McDonough. Karen, our next pitch presenter, welcome and take it away.
Imagine coming to a new country where you don't know the language. You don't have any family or friends close by. You don't fully understand the culture, and you soon start to feel lonely, isolated, and hopeless. Your life just freezes. That's what happened to me when I moved to this country from Mexico 5 years ago. I quickly started to feel very anxious and depressed. And I know I'm not the only one. A recent study by Blue Cross Blue Shield indicates that there has been a 31% increase in the prevalence of major depression among millennials between the years 2014 and 2017. But it is very likely that this number has increased due to the current pandemic. Let's Talk Philly Conversation Circles has been working to reduce this trend by providing a free and safe space for immigrant millennials to feel connected to their peers through virtual conversations that are guided by trained facilitators. This is the only non-clinical, peer-to-peer, skill-building wellness initiative with a shared decision-making model in Greater Philadelphia. A lot of things happen in our conversation circles. Participants are not only building their language skills, but they are also making new friends. All of this by sharing information about resources, learning new skills, exchanging cultural perspectives, learning about immigrant integration, and last but not least, by having a lot of fun. This is the magic of our approach. In the past year, we have reached over 100 participants who have said they felt happier, more confident, and had built a stronger social network. We have also trained around 15 facilitators, most of whom were previous participants in our conversation circles. And we even have former participants who started to organize their own conversation circles. Today, we're asking you to invest in our project so that we can pilot the program for the next 6 months. We want to hire an evaluator to measure the effectiveness of our program. We also want to bring more people to the circles, expand our partnerships with community-based organizations, and we want to invite experts in the wellness field to share their experience with our participants. We know this is impacting lives positively, and we envision a Philadelphia where every immigrant millennial feels at home, well-connected, happier, and healthier. And we hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Now, of course, it's time to get the judges' take via a little Q&A. As a reminder, there will be a buzzer to keep us on time and inform us when we need to move on to the next pitch. So with that said, we have Karen, we have our judges, and judges, now to you. Any questions for Karen?
I'm happy to kick it off. I wanted to know about scale, Karen, how you plan to scale. And if you, it's kind of two-part, if you can talk to me about how this is a little bit different than apps like Beep Boop that also have conversational language learning type of capabilities.
Sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And so about scalability, we want to, like we said before, to hire an evaluator to measure our project. How can we bring more people to the circles? And it is our project is different because we are not focusing just about the language learning. It's more about it's about the confidence when speaking in English, because we believe that most of the time it's most about your confidence than your level of English when you want to speak with people. We also are community based. It's about making relationships and making connections. And also we want to focus in the skill building ability of the people that join our conversation circles.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. Let's go to Deborah or Rakia. Would either of you have a question?
Sure, I can go. Thank you for bringing to the front of us layers and layers of isolation, right? So linguistically, culturally, even more deeper isolation. So I thank you for that. I guess I was curious to hear about some of your curriculum, like when you say you have these facilitators, how are they being trained on what material, like what are the topics? Is it standardized? Is it replicable in terms of you have it kind of like canned in some ways? I was just curious to see what you've all been doing thus far.
So, thank you, Deborah, for the questions. And we have the facilitators who were from previous conversation circles, also people from other community-based programs. So in our conversation circle, we work differently because the topics will be chosen for the participant in the circle. So they make all the decisions like together. So we will have the first session, and then we ask everyone their ideas, and then we, as the facilitators, we will make the outline for each session. So the decision maker. Decision making is very important for community, for our conversation circles, because this is like our central goal. We want people to take in charge in their own learning. Yeah, because we think this will motivate them a lot. Yeah, thank you.
So let's go to Rakia next. A question for Let's Talk Conversations.
Yes. Well, I think what you are building, again, just I'm just astounded by the brilliance that we have been presented today. I think you are onto something, and you're right at the precipice of where people are trying to build linguistic intelligence platforms. So we hear so much about AI, but we don't hear a lot about LI. And with you all tapping into this space with conversational confidence building, the verbal intelligence that you had there, I guess my question is, because I think there's a lot of possibility and opportunity for you to scale up and also be acquired by other linguistic professionals that are trying to build programs and people that are trying to build teaming and languaging between audiences. How are you going to build awareness? Like right now, are you putting together a marketing plan or communications plan or grassroots plan? And if so, what's your first sort of area in which you want to attract people to what you're doing?
Yes. So one of our plans is also to reach community-based organizations, other organizations that are aiming to help immigrant millennials in the city, so that we can reach to more people and expand to this community. So that would be our first initiative, to reach other organizations. And we have our platforms online, and the participants that have been part of it, they are also sharing it with people they know.
That's
And
great. Sorry, it was answering the
Thank,
question. So you were getting there. Thank you so much.
oh,
you.
thank you, judges, and thank you, of course, to Let's Talk Philly Conversation Circles. We're now going to open up the floor for some audience Q&A. I see we have some questions that are coming in. If you have not already submitted your question, you maybe have a couple of seconds to do so, but I'm going to at least go ahead and kick it off with the question that I see currently. The question coming is, how do you identify the immigrant communities which are at greater risk of isolation? And that comes by way of Patrick. So this is for the team. How do you all identify the immigrant communities which are at greater risk of isolation?
So actually, our goal is to help every millennials in the community. So we will try our best to reach out to more people because we want to help them and support them connect with others and also build meaningful relationships. So I don't know like how we like identify, but our goal is try our best and to reach out to more people and then bring more people in the circles. Yeah.
Got you, and thank you for that. Do you plan on continuing the virtual format after the pandemic?
So after the pandemic, we are planning to bring a hybrid model because we have noticed that for many people, the virtual is better because they live far away, so it's difficult to commute for them. So we want to have a hybrid model where we keep some sessions online, and of course, we would love to meet in person too.
Gotcha. And I'm going to double check. We might have time to get one more question in here. How do you improve immigrants' health? How do you help improve immigrants' health?
We believe provide.
That was on me. I tried to squeeze that one in. I thought we might have just a little bit of time. But listen, nonetheless, want to thank you all, thank the judges for this round of Q&A. We have to keep moving. And so with that said, joining us now is Vida Lidback, Brogan Austin, and Erica Nunez from Mind Your Art, which is a collaboration between Fleischer Art Memorial and Juntos. Mind Your Art connects community members to the healing benefits of hands-on art making as a means to build connections, reduce isolation, and improve overall well-being for millennials. Thank you to our Wells City Incubator advisor, Christy Poling, and welcome to our next pitch presenter, Vida.
Art saved my life. That is a quote from one of our participants at Fleischer Art Memorial, the oldest community art school in the nation, serving Philadelphia for over 120 years. We believe that art heals and that art saves lives. Research shows that art making reduces stress levels, lowering levels of cortisol in our bodies, that art engagements improve cognitive and physical function and reduce isolation. Coming together with others to create builds community and creates strong social bonds. The Latinx community is one of the fastest growing communities in Philadelphia. Nearly 6 in 10 Latinx are millennials or younger. The community has also been disproportionately affected by COVID, compounding long-standing racial disparities and lack of access to mental health care. 67% of Latinx receive no treatment for mental health issues. Together with Juntos, a social justice and immigrant advocacy organization in South Philadelphia, we want to bring the healing power of the arts to the Latinx millennials and their families. We will work with our esteemed teaching artists to bring free, culturally relevant mindfulness and art workshops, including weaving, paper mache, papel picado, and ceramics. Art engagement is already fundamentally connected to mindfulness, as making art naturally situates the practitioner in a state of deep creative focus equivalent to meditation. Our teaching artists have designed curricula that leverages this connection, and guide students into intentional mindfulness practice. Workshops will take place in parks popular with the Latinx communities, including FDR Park, Dixon Square, and Capitola. We want to bring art to where the community already gathers, where it feels safe, and where coming across an art activity will feel natural and delightful. We will use Fleischer's mobile art studio, Color Wheels, which is outfitted to bring a variety of art workshops off-site. We will follow COVID safety protocols, and because of the importance of family in the Latinx community, workshops will be family-friendly and childcare will be provided with art activities for kids. All participants will also receive individual art kits and information on mental health care resources. With art, we will celebrate and build community in our post-COVID world. Fleischer and Juntos have a long-standing relationship, and we are uniquely positioned to succeed with this project. Both organizations have the trust and the relationship with the communities we want to serve, and the experience and the track record of providing art engagements on the go. With the success of our pilot in South Philly, we will grow Mind Your Art and bring it to other neighborhoods in the city through partnerships with local institutions. Thank you everyone for being here tonight, and thank you Well City for this incredible opportunity.
Thank you, Vida. Now, of course, we're going to go ahead and welcome our judges to the stage so that we can ask some questions. And of course, if there's time, we will certainly make sure you can ask questions as well. We have the buzzer ready to help keep us on time and let us know when we need to move on to the next pitch. So with that said, judges, any questions to the folks at Mind Your Art?
I can go. So I have a question. Just thinking about your, so art sometimes feels like a luxury, especially when you're running as fast as you need to run to keep things together, especially if you're in a community that feels like it's a bit on the margin or the fringes. And so my question is, how have you recruited, or how do you envision that happening? And how do you help people know that this is like a good thing for them? Like, how do you help them understand the need for this in their life, the therapeutic pieces of this? And so that's in a nutshell.
I think the best way to show someone that art makes a huge difference in your life is to actually do it. And this is the great part about this project, is that we're bringing Color Wheels, our awesome, amazing mobile art studio that comes to a park, sets up tables, brings a teaching artist, all of the materials, and immediately kind of engages people who are there because of curiosity of like, what's happening? Stuff is, you know, you're about to make something, stuff is going on, there's people gathering, they want to check it out. And as they are given the opportunity to create, to make something together, I think through that experience is how people best understand the absolute beneficial effects of art.
Thank you, Vida. And Tiffany or Rakia, any questions for Vida?
Yeah, I'm happy to hop in. I think along with Deborah's question, my question is around cultural competence and how are you ensuring that, you know, the staff are culturally competent, the, you know, teaching artists as well as ensuring that there's relevance to the cultures that you're seeking to engage in whatever you're teaching, like the medium, you know, how are you connecting that to the history?
Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, Erica, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I can answer it. Hi, I'm Erika. I'm the executive director of Juntos, and we will be working in collaboration with the Mind Your Art program at Fleischer to ensure that it's engaging our community members responsibly and also effectively. So Juntos is a community-led organization that is Latinx, and because we're community-led, community members have a direct say in sort of how we guide our programs, but we also have a long existing relationship with Fleischer, and Fleischer has a strong relationship with the Latinx immigrant community in South Philly through different initiatives, and this is just an addition to that. So existing initiatives that that Fleischer has held is a creative aging initiative with Puentes de Salud for older immigrant adults, and also a yearly Dia de los Muertos community celebration that has a committee of community members. So Fleischer is also very intentional in ensuring that community members have input in the process of any art making. And based on the location that they're in and the familiarity of the institution with the larger community, I know that community members will feel comfortable going to the site. And at Juntos, we will be ensuring that this new iteration of the project and continues that practice that Fleischer has of engaging directly with community on what their needs and desires are, but also because of their wide breadth of artistry and different teaching artists they have on staff, ensuring that there's different options from everything from papel picado to ceramics based on like what folks' folkloric traditions are, but also what their personal interests are.
Thank you.
Wow, that was great. I mean, I had a question, Sarita, I did, but I would say Erika came in with all of the receipts and the colorful commentary, so to speak. As someone who is raising a fine artist, I have such a passion for the arts. My daughter actually took classes at Fleischer years ago, so I know it to be such a great teaching institution and going there for events. And I like the collaboration with Juntos because it's centered around family and the Latinx community, which I think we don't talk enough about when we're talking about community engagement and arts. One quick question, I don't know if we have time, is are there other collaborations in mind? Like, do we see this going beyond, or Fleischer and Juntos taking this to other organizations as a model to build collaboration in art?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said in the pitch, I think.
So we are hitting the bell, the time. But listen, I do want to remind all of our finalists to feel free to keep answering any questions in the chat. I know we have attendee questions. We may not necessarily be getting to all of our judges' questions. So I definitely want to encourage you to get those answered in the chat. We're going to go ahead and move into our audience Q&A. We've had some questions that have been coming in for you all. Mr. Patman said, what are the common problems and assumptions? What are the common problems and assumptions that you all may face?
I think the most common problem with a lot of people coming to art who are new to art is that they can't draw. I can't draw, or I just can't. I can't create. So making art accessible has been part of what Fleischer has been doing for over 120 years, and it's something that we really pride ourselves on. How do you make it inviting? How do you make it fun? How do you make it super joyful so that it doesn't seem intimidating? So that's a problem that we often work to overcome.
Gotcha. And then we received a question from Bethany. Bethany asked, what happens to all of the art that is created?
You take it home with you. Alongside the art making activity, we're going to supply art kits. I also want to mention that all of the Color Wheels programming is free with the art supplies included. So you would do an art making activity with the mobile art studio in a park, create a piece of art that you can take home with you, to put on your wall, to give away, to make yourself feel better. And then you'd have the art supplies as well as materials for mental health resources and additional classes at Fleischer that you'd get to take home with you.
Thank you for that, Brogan. And we're just about at time. I think we have a little less than 30 seconds left. So what I'll do, I know there are some more questions that are coming through in the chat, and I don't want to repeat what I did last time and ask the question and you all not have enough time to answer. So I want to encourage the Mind Your Art team to head over to the comment section and check out the questions that are coming in. And like we said, continue to answer them and engage so that, we can get those answered for everyone who is watching, right? And so with that said, we are keeping this program moving. A special thank you to our judges and to Mind Your Art. I can't believe we've already reached our 5th and final team. Up now are Erica Evans, we have Dana Flato, and Elise Knox from Health Coaches Without Borders, the Hero Group Health Coaching Program. Their venture is a health coaching program that supports folks in making self-directed, lasting health and behavioral changes by increasing the psychological capital they bring to life circumstances through pro bono group health coaching. Thank you to our Wells City Incubator Advisor, Josh Miller-Myers. Erica, welcome, and the pitch stage is all yours.
Over a third of millennials have a chronic illness, and 51% were underemployed prior to the pandemic. These are people like Ethan, a recently unemployed 29-year-old engineer living alone, and Jen, a chronically ill 31-year-old business owner with a baby on the way. Jen, Ethan, and over 70 others like them came to our remote pro bono group health coaching pilot this past year during the COVID-19 lockdowns, looking for support. In groups of 4 to 6 people, they shared stories of dealing with the combined effects of the pandemic, unemployment, and chronic illness. When millennials don't have access to a supportive sounding board to help them achieve their idea of wellness, they experience isolation and increased unhealthy behaviors. These common experiences factor into the rise in poor millennial health, which will have severe long-term economic consequences. A tool like health coaching shouldn't feel inaccessible for Jen or Ethan. That's why our Hero Group Health Coaching Program is the only pro bono remote health coaching service that connects millennials experiencing economic instability to certified health coaches, who then help them create actionable steps for healthy behavior change. After last year's pilot, 93% of our participants had a shift in mindset or knowledge, and all participants felt motivated to take action on their learning. Building on the success and effectiveness of our first pilot, we're developing an innovative model for free health coaching, connecting coaches to communities. We had over 50 volunteer coaches last year, and new coaches contact us every week, ready to volunteer their time and skills. We can scale. With $10,000 in seed money to run a pilot project here in Philly, we will reach 100 millennials, seeking partnerships with trusted community-based organizations, providing our coaches with cultural humility training, and building the administrative infrastructure needed to serve more clients and measure success now and beyond the pilot. Our model helps people connect in meaningful ways at a time when it's not easy to connect. We believe group coaching support can improve the health outcomes of underemployed millennials with chronic disease. For Ethan, this looked like cultivating community. Weekly group sessions with others facing similar issues eased his loneliness and isolation. Ethan found increased accountability and gained trust in himself. And for Jen, she initiated one habit change that cultivated feelings of hope each morning. Despite her busy schedule, Jen began eating a healthy breakfast each day for her and her growing baby. Nurturing hope, self-confidence, resilience, and realistic optimism has had lasting positive implications for both Jen and Ethan. We believe that health coaching for habit change fulfills a need, not a luxury. We're asking for an investment that will connect coaches to communities and give millennials the tools they need to take charge of their health.
Thank you, Erica. Now let's bring in our judges, of course, for our Q&A. And if there's time, of course, we're going to move on to our audience questions. We have our buzzer ready to keep us punctual and poised to move on to the deliberation period when that time comes. So for our judges, any questions with the pitch that you just heard Erica present?
Yeah, I'm happy to kick it off. Thank you so much, Erica and team. I think I may have missed it, but wanted to know, two-part question. What platform you are using? Have you developed your own platform to connect the coaches? And much like some of the questions that we've asked, health is very specific per community. So through your platform, how are you, ensuring that the match with the small groups are appropriate, recognizing all different body types, shapes, goals, culture, background? How are you doing all that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's a lot, and I hope I can cover it all quickly. So currently our group coaching program is held on Zoom, and folks can attend either through, the regular way we are all attending right now through Zoom, or by calling in over phone. So not everybody, can use a computer or wants to. So that's why the phone is another piece of that puzzle. So that is how we hold the group coaching programs currently. And then the first question you had around how do we honor everybody's idea of wellness. Everybody has a different idea of what health and well-being mean, and as health coaches, the wonderful thing about coaching is we help our clients discover what that means to them and what's important to them. When we sit together with a client, I look at my client as the expert in who they are and their lived experience, and I wouldn't dare to assume that I know otherwise what's best for them. It's not my place. My place is to be there to help them facilitate change, and our coaches help them dig into what's important to them and their values to help make a plan for moving forward. And then to address the other piece around, like, what about making sure we can match up our clients with appropriate coaches and groups. Part of what we're hoping to do with the seed funding is to be able to increase the breadth of our coaches who are currently volunteering. And so right now, we have about, I guess we've had in the last year for our pilot, we had about 50 coaches who were from across the world. So mostly in the United States, but I think we were in 8 countries across 4 continents. And so there's a lot of different lived experiences amongst that. However, we also feel that we could do a lot more to increase the diversity of our coaches in terms of lived experiences in many different aspects. And part of what we're hoping to do, with hopefully some of the money that we might win, is to provide cultural humility training and training around the social determinants of health for our coaches, as this is something that is often lacking from health coach training programs. And we see that as maybe a way our organization can help fill that gap for coaches as well in their sort of professional development, so that we can all better serve the different communities that we work with.
And we have about 2 minutes left. So Deborah or Rakia, any questions?
Yeah, just really quickly, I thought it was a great pitch. I just have a quick question. Right now, the model is mostly like B2C, right? Is it more of a B2C model? And if so, do you have plans to make it more of like B2B and working specifically with corporations?
Yes, so our first pilot was B2C. And through that, we learned we want to reach more people, we got to go B2B. And so that's our plan. If we are able to pilot this in Philly, we have a long list of community organizations we want to partner with, other nonprofits we'd like to partner with to reach the folks that we're hoping we can serve with our services.
Final judge, any questions?
Just a question around sustainability. So you're doing pro bono, people are not getting paid. So how do you expect to continue that as you move into the future?
Thank you for that question, Deborah. So there are so many different ways that we envision being able to make this sustainable. And the exciting thing about our model is that there are a lot of different ways to approach this idea. One idea is, this could be something that health insurance payers might want to pilot to produce better outcomes for their patients. Another idea is a sliding scale fee for service model where, there's a minimal service fee to participate in HCWB services like the group coaching program to sustain some of those basic costs of the organization. And then also, as we pursue either fiscal sponsorship, we've been in talks with Urban Affairs Coalition about that, or 501c3, pursuing grants directly and working with community-based organizations to fulfill the needs of those grants. So hopefully we'd be able to explore those options with the funding like this.
Got you. And that brings us to time. Right on time. As we know, the buzzer is an indicator that we can now move into our audience Q&A. So we have about 2 minutes for that. Questions have already been rolling in. Let's see here. Bethany asks, how does someone become eligible for free health coaching or gain access to it?
Thank you, Bethany. So right now, we have a form on our website that I think, or it's going out soon, that if you're interested in coaching, we usually have in the past have set periods of registration for coaching for people who are seeking services when we were doing more of a B2C model. But on our website, we do have a form. So if you're interested in some free coaching, please reach out to us and we'll get back to you personally.
Okay, and another question that we've received from Tamala, how are you marketing yourself to underserved populations?
So that's what we're hoping to do by partnering with a lot of these community-based organizations right now. Is we want to come to a different organization and say, here are the services we have. Is this something you think the folks you're working with might be interested in? Again, we're taking that coach approach. We're not here to say you need this. We're here to say, here's an offering. How can we serve?
Got you. And I think we can get one more in. Andrea said, what are you doing to vet volunteer coaches?
Yes, great question. So currently we have kept our coach pool rather small. I say 50 last year, but we all came from the same training program. And our training program is a national board certified, a National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching certified program. So what we're hoping to do is keep it small for right now, just so that we can maintain that quality control of our coaches' training. But we do have visions in the future of opening it up to other board certified health coaches and maybe beyond.
All right. And I think we are coming up on time. And so with that, thank you, judges and the Hero Group Health Coaching Program. We're going to go ahead because this is like getting real. I'm starting to get nervous. We're nearing that time. And so we want to thank all of our finalists and just congratulations on the progress you've made throughout the incubator. Our judges will now move into final deliberation for which concept will win the $10,000 seed investment. Now, our judges handle the business of deliberating. We will handle the business of the people's choice vote. So using the link in our chat, you can cast a vote for your favorite concept to win the $7,500 seed investment. Voting will stay open for 24 hours and be announced on Tuesday, March 9th. Now, here's something to know. If a concept wins both the grand prize and people's choice vote, they will receive a grand total of $17,500. So please be sure to make your voice heard because every vote counts, right? So now that we've handled the people's choice vote, the judges are away. So we may as well play a little bit, right? We have a few questions prepared for wellness trivia. They're related to our category, which, as a reminder, is community and social connection. So when the question is read, all you have to do is drop your answer in the chat. If you know it, drop the answer. That's it. That's all you have to do. So I hope you all came prepared to share your knowledge of millennial health. The first question, which demographic group is the largest group within the US workforce? Is it the baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, or Generation Z, Generation Z. Which demographic group is the largest group within the US workforce? Baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, or Generation Z? Drop your response in the questions. I'm so curious to see what we get here. I see them coming in. I'm seeing a lot of millennials, baby boomers. I see some Zs. All right, let's get to the answer. And the answer is millennials. Millennials are the largest demographic group within the US workforce. So congratulations to everyone who put in, millennials, you know your stuff. And now on to our second question. While in Philadelphia with House of Bands in 2020, Tierra Whack, a Grammy-nominated rapper and Philly native, donated $100,000 to 5 district high schools for what kind of program to give back to the Philadelphia community? Was it a sports program, a music program, or a school lunch program? Drop your response, your answer in the chat. Was it a sports program, a music program, or a school lunch program? And I see, okay, it's like almost overwhelmingly music. Okay, we got a few school lunches. All right, our answer, it was a music program. Throughout the day, WAC visited Samuel Fells High, Frankfurt High, Philadelphia High School for Girls, John Bartram High School, and South Philadelphia High, where she watched numerous performances and interacted with students. So shout out to Tierra Whack for not only giving back, but giving back through her presence and taking in the art that these students had to offer. Our next question, about how many Philadelphians how many Philadelphians are millennials? About how many Philadelphians are millennials? 1/2, 1/3, or 3/4? 1/2, 1/3, or 3/4? What do you say? Drop those answers in the chat. Let's see what we got here. I'm seeing a lot of 1/3s. Okay, some folks coming through with half. What do you all say? What? How many Philadelphians are millennials? And the answer is 1/3. 1/3. The approximately 528,000 millennials living in Philadelphia represent the largest generational cohort in the city, 13.7% larger than the second largest generation, which is the baby boomers. So for those who put 1/3, you got it. You know your stuff. And now we're going to go on to our next question. And this is one that I see asked or even debated quite a bit. Between what years were millennials born? When were we millennials born? Were we born 1965 to 1980, 1981 to 1996, or born after 1996? So I'll run those back for you. Were millennials born in 1965 to 1980, between 1981 and 1996, or were millennials born after 96? Drop your thoughts, your response in the comment section. Oh, wow, we've got a mix here. I'm seeing a lot of 1981s to 1996. Okay, I see you all. Okay. They're coming through. They're coming through. So here's the answer. Millennials were born between the years of 1981 and 1996. The term millennial refers to the fact that these individuals, AKA myself and my peers, came of age during the turn of the new millennium. Millennials are mostly digital natives, entering school and work during the advent of the internet and smartphones, with direct experience of the impact these technologies had on living and working patterns. And I can most certainly speak to that. That has absolutely been the case for me. So shout out to everyone who has, been engaging and dropping your thoughts, your questions in the comment section. I would love to know what generations we have represented here, because this experience, though we're focusing on millennial health and mental health, physical health, well-being, all of those great things, this is very much an intergenerational experience. So if you're comfortable, shout out your generation. Let me know who's here. I see Gen X. We got boomers in here. shout out to my fellow millennials. Jennifer said, I am one of those stuck between millennials and Gen X. Yeah, I see a lot of boomers coming through. Millennial for life. I love the sauce we put on it. I absolutely love it. Lot. Okay. Got you all. So appreciate that. It's always nice to know, who's in the room, because this is a virtual experience that we're all going through in this moment. But this helps quite a bit. And I see a lot of folks on the line between baby boomer and Gen X, or some kind of line between either generation. But that's that said, millennial by group, but personality of the greatest generation. She said, I like 1940s jazz. So we got a little bit of, okay, we're dropping years now. I guess years that y'all were born. Shout out to 1977 and 1978. 1969. I love it. I love the engagement. So listen, if you may just be tuning in, our judges are currently in deliberation right now, trying to figure out who is going to take this thing, right? Our finalists have worked so hard to craft their pitches, to really present how they are looking to address the millennial health crisis that we're experiencing right now. We know that what affects one affects all. And so I just really want to take a moment to salute the finalists for all of their hard work, and to also, thank you all for being a part of this process, because your vote via the people's choice can make all the difference. And whether they receive $10,000 in seed investment or $17,500 in seed investment. If you haven't already, make sure you head to the chat, click the link, and cast your vote. Okay? I want to double check to see if we have any questions that are coming in. Yes, Moni, I agree. They are all doing great work. All doing great work. Andrea said that is so true. Physically one, personality in another, speaking on, just whatever generation it is that you might identify for. And I see folks are requesting the link. Our team will drop that once again for you so that you have access. Again, a reminder, People's Choice, that link for today, you only get 24 hours to get your vote in. So once you get your vote in, make sure you share it with your friends, with your family, with your network, on social media, so that we can get as many folks engaged in this process as possible. Of course, we never take any hard work put into the pitches lightly, and we want to do our best to make sure that folks actually get to see these pitches, get to understand what all of these incredible individuals and organizations are doing to help address millennial health in our city, and for many beyond. So yes, and the link has been dropped. So if you need it, it's there, and we're good, right? Manisha, I appreciate that. She said all of the pitches were great. I am curious to know, to get your feedback on some of the pitches. Were there any particular pitches that stuck out to you, that you're interested in learning more about? I see Hike and Heal, shout out to Adrian coming through. If you've had any experiences with any of the organizations or the folks who pitched today, and maybe you want to share a bit about it, and I know some of you already have, please do, right? The best form of advertisement and support is word of mouth. It's definitely word of mouth. Let's Talk Philly. Okay, I see them. Hike and Heal, a lot of Hike and Heal. Hey, Auntie. Yes, all pitches were great, but I mean, man, it's awesome to see the impact that they've already had in the community, just by way of the folks who showed up today and are engaging in the chat section. You guys are awesome. And I think we are good to keep going here. All right. Thank you all so much for participating in our wellness activity and just engaging a bit with us. I want to go ahead and welcome Donna Crilly-Farrell from Independence Blue Cross, our presenting sponsor, to share remarks before we announce the grand prize winning concept. So with that said, Donna.
Hello, I'm Donna Crilly-Farrell, Senior Vice President of Corporate Communications for Independence Blue Cross, and it's great to be with you this evening. Independence is proud to partner with the Economy League of Greater Philadelphia to present the Well City Challenge. We came together to address a problem that the National Blue Cross Blue Shield Association identified in its Health of America report on millennial health. That report was startling. It found that the largest generation in the United States today, the millennial generation, is less healthy than the generation before them. In fact, millennials have seen double-digit increases in 8 of 10 major health conditions, particularly behavioral health conditions. If these trends are allowed to continue, the impact on life expectancy, our economy, and general quality of life will be severe. Millennial health is now a top priority at Independence and across the Blue system. We believe well-designed, community-based solutions can turn around these alarming trends. So we joined with the Economy League to put the call out for solutions through the Well City Challenge. And the community responded. We received more than 100 outstanding applications in our 3 categories: community and social connection, food and nutrition, and mind and body. Tonight, we saw 5 finalists in the community and social connection category pitch their concepts. Please join me in applauding them for their great efforts. They share an inspiring commitment to improving the health and well-being of people in southeastern Pennsylvania. With ingenuity and commitment like this, I believe we can turn the tide on millennial health challenges. And now, on to the big announcement of the winner of the Well City Challenge Community and Social Connection category.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Independence Blue Cross. Okay, it's time, y'all. Please know that this was an extremely tough decision for our judges. Across all pitches, some feedback that they want to make sure everyone takes home with them is that it's eventually about just moving beyond a virtual application and engaging with people directly. And that's something that we know we all have to kind of take into account and in a way prepare ourselves and our businesses for. So we hope that each of the pitch presenters this evening will carry that piece of advice with them. And just a quick refresher, the winners of our grand prize will receive $10,000 in prize money and move on to the accelerator this spring. So what team and concept are the grand prize winners? Everyone, please help me from wherever you're at with a drum roll, please. Congratulations to Hey Auntie. Hey Auntie, congratulations. Please, let's welcome them back for their winning remarks.
Sorry. My family is very happy. Do y'all hear my family screaming? I am so okay. Do I give a thank you? What? Yeah, okay.
It's all you.
Okay, first and foremost, yes! I give honor to God and I thank God. Then I thank my family, I thank my friends, I thank my advisor, Hayward West. I thank the Church of Christian Compassion, the senior pastor Lonnie Herndon for supporting me. I thank everyone who's helped me along this journey. I thank a Greater Philadelphia Economy League. I thank the Independence Blue Cross. I thank the judges. I thank everybody. I thank you, Sarita. You were great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't want to cry.
Excited.
You might see me cry.
We take tears. No, congratulations. Once again to the Hey Auntie team and to all your family who I hear in the back. So we have to get ready to wind this thing down. But once again, I want to thank everyone who joined us this evening. What a thrilling experience to see the work being made to improve millennial health and mental health in the face of challenges that could make or break our economy. Hey Auntie will be moving onto the Well City Challenge Impact Accelerator this spring. All grand prize and People's Choice winners will join the Impact Accelerator this spring and have the chance to win $50,000 in seed investment. Only one team, though, will be selected when the accelerator concludes. And in case you missed it, People's Choice voting is now online and will be for the next 24 hours. So share the link again with your friends, with your family, with your network. Ask them to cast their vote. Please be sure to join us for the food and nutrition and mind body pitch competitions coming up tomorrow and Thursday. You can find links to register in the chat. I also want to invite you to join us to vote for your favorites and help us continue to award seed investments that will take these concepts to the next level. And hey, listen, let us know what you thought about this event using the poll unit link in the chat, right? We want some feedback too. We're not pitching, but you know, we're doing our thing here. So help us with that. Thanks again to Independence Blue Cross and the Economy League, and big congrats once again to Hey Auntie. We'll see you tomorrow for the food and nutrition pitch competition. Have a great evening, and thank you for helping to make Philadelphia a well city.
My home, we flying up, no ceiling when we in the zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, that good soul in my feet, that hot blood in my body when it drops.